Apple turning into a pineapple company?
Yes? No, sweetheart, it's not. They're just going through the biggest leadership change they've had in years. A lot of headlines are asking the same question. Will this wave of leadership changes at Apple trigger a major shakeup for the company? At a moment like this, many people are also wondering, will the next major revolution in smartphones come from Apple again? Especially now that Apple has officially woven AI into its entire ecosystem. A lot of people feel this time it might be doing more than just updating a phone. But before we get to that, there's a more grounded question. Is your iPhone still just a device you can swap out anytime, or has it slowly turned into an external organ of your body? You use it to wake up, work, navigate, pay, and stay connected with your family. For many people, it's no longer just a tool, but a kind of digital organ woven into everyday life. So let's start from there. If you had to switch phone tomorrow with nobody influencing you, which brand pops into your mind first?
Apple.
Then let me ask you this. Why was Apple the first name that came to mind?
Well, so what exactly makes Apple so compelling? Is it just the camera, or simply the power of the brand?
It's more than that. The core isn't any single feature. It's the way Apple thinks about people, and that's very different from many other companies. Early phone menus felt like they were talking to machines, with options buried layer after layer. When the iPhone arrived, it tried to turn that complexity into icons and simple, human language. More importantly, Apple started early on asking, how can people who can't see the screen well, can't hear clearly, or don't have full use of their hands still use a phone just like everyone else? For example, VoiceOver on the iPhone reads everything out loud on the screen, allowing blind users can operate the phone simply by listening. Add things like larger text, high contrast display, assistive touch, and support for hearing devices. None of these look sexy on its own or drives huge profits directly, but they're exactly why so many people end up unable to leave the ecosystem.
Sounds a bit like an overprotective parent even worrying about whether you can see clearly or hear properly, right?
It's precisely because it takes care of all those little details that it slowly shifts from being a gadget into something closer to an assistive organ outside your body. It reminds you of things, guides your route, pays for you, and tracks your health data. The longer you use it, the more you outsource your memory and small decisions to it. So for many people, what Apple really sells isn't a phone. It's the feeling of being well taken care of and taken seriously. And once that feeling expands from a single device to a whole family of devices and services, it stops being just a product and becomes an ecosystem.
There are just too many gadgets now. Phone, tablet, laptop, earbuds. Switching between them all the time is a real hassle.
That hassle you're talking about is exactly what Apple has spent years trying to solve, turning a collection of separate devices into a single, unified system. You can copy and paste across devices, drag a file from one device to another, and even play the same video across two screens. It's the same with your earbuds. You start playing music on your phone, then move to your laptop, and the earbuds switch over automatically. You don't manage it. The system makes that decision for you in the background. You hardly think about where your photos, notes, or files are stored anymore. As long as it's your device, you open it and everything is there. Delete something once, and it disappears across all your devices. From your perspective, it's no longer four separate devices. It's one large machine, distributed across your pocket, your bag, your desk, and your wrist.
Oh, so is that why, after a few years, it becomes so hard for people to leave Apple?
Exactly. Once it has wired together your information, habits, and workflows, switching phones means replacing a whole nervous system you're already used to. Its smartphone market share isn't the largest, but it takes a huge chunk of the industry's profits. That's the power of its ecosystem and user stickiness. When an ecosystem connects your information, remembers your habits, and makes countless invisible decisions for you, it stops being just a brand and becomes an organ-level system outside your body.
So, was Apple always this strong from the start? Or did it just get lucky and ride a few big waves?
Most people only see the outcome, but from that first garage to today, Apple has basically been running the same playbook. From the original garage startup, to Steve Jobs returning, to the launches of the iPod and iPhone. On the surface, it looks like one product after another. But underneath, the same core logic has been driving everything. After Jobs returned, one of his first major moves was cutting a chaotic product lineup down to just a few categories. He'd rather make fewer things, and push each of them to the extreme. The second rule is tight hardware, software integration. From the chip to the operating system, to the device, and then the services, they try to keep the most critical pieces in their own hands. That's what their in-house chips are really about. It's not just to look good on spec sheets, but to lock in the upper limit of user experience and the lower limit of inefficiency by designing hardware and software together. The third rule is that classic idea. Keep the complexity on our side, give simplicity to the user. Inside, everything can be insanely complex, but in your hand, it should feel as simple as pressing a single button.
So, if they make things so complicated on their side, is it just because they like to over-engineer things?
The deeper reason is that they're guarding one thing: trust. As long as every time you spend money you feel taken seriously, you'll be willing to hand over your next decision. Take privacy and security. Some of those choices may not be the most profitable path in the short term, but in the long run, they're what let you keep trusting Apple with more and more of your life. From Jobs to Tim Cook, the style has clearly changed. One feels like a product godfather, the other like an operations-driven CEO. But the underlying logic, fewer but better, tight integration, and pushing the experience to the max, has never really changed. And that's why, even amid today's major leadership shakeup, as long as that underlying playbook holds together, the digital organ you use every day will keep working just fine.
Does all this leadership shuffle at Apple really matter to someone like me, who uses their phone every day?
Yes, it does matter. For ordinary users, there are actually 3 things you can quietly keep an eye on. First, look at the new devices. If one day you notice that updates are starting to feel like a pile-on of features, instead of making the few things you use every day smoother, that's a signal. Second, see whether everything still just works between devices. If simple things like copy and paste, handoff, and device switching suddenly start lagging or failing a lot, that's another signal. Third, pay attention to privacy and ads. If one day you feel that notifications, ads, and recommendations are clinging to every corner of your life, and that boundary gets blurry, it means the company's trade-offs are changing.
So if I suddenly feel like something about using Apple lately feels off, maybe it's not just me being dramatic? So if I suddenly feel like, Apple's feeling a little off lately, it might not just be me being picky.
Exactly. That might be the first hint that the product philosophy is drifting a little. From an investor's perspective, what you need to watch goes one level deeper. First, look at where they're investing. Are they still pouring capital into chips, in-house tech, and cloud capabilities, those long-term assets? Or are they more focused on flashy short-term numbers? Second, watch the services and ecosystem. Are subscriptions, cloud storage, and all these services thickening the moat, or just ways to squeeze a bit more profit? Third, look at cash flow and buybacks. Steady, consistent buybacks are a way of signaling to long-term shareholders. If that rhythm suddenly swings wildly, that's a very different kind of signal.
Sounds a bit like giving Apple a health check to see whether it's been working out, or just pulling all-nighters to chase quick cash.
That's one way to put it. As a user, all you need to feel is the experience getting better, and is your privacy and your boundaries still being respected? As an investor, you need to ask one more question. Is this company still preparing for the next 5 to 10 years? Or is it starting to squeeze more money out of every user right now? Leaders can change, and even the names can change. What you really have to watch is whether its attitude toward people, toward the ecosystem, and toward the future has changed. Now I'll leave the question with you. What kind of Apple do you want it to be?